All right, men fans, it is the day after another epic performance by Kirk Minahan in Plymouth. I did not see a second of it, or maybe I saw a little bit of it, but I've brought on Andy Mayo, who was brought up on stage at Plymouth for his review, which is a bit of a tradition for this show. So, Mayo, I guess let's just start off general impressions of the live show before we get into the details.
I loved it. I'm glad I went, but there were, I think the technical issues will be we'll get a lot of attention.
So you love the show though?
Yes.
And are you going to be more talkative throughout this review, or
I'm going to try.
Get?
I told you. Hold on. Yeah, I told you, Menders. I'm fried, man. This was I had a family wedding Friday, so since Thursday I've been basically on the road with a family wedding. So
right. It's okay. I don't need to hear the whole
you're gonna get
story.
what you're gonna get.
I want to get a review of the live show. All right. So I guess you arrived on Saturday, didn't you? You didn't go to the. Did you go to Biodude's cornhole party?
I did not. Nope. I very much appreciated an invite. I did not make it to the barbecue/orgy.
I don't think it was an orgy.
I don't think it started as one. May not have started as one.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into some issues from the night. So, firstly, Scooper Luke has made a point.
Good question. Manners, let's get right. Let's get to the elephant in the room, which is Manners.
Shut up.
Manners' performance on Twitter. That's partly why I'm stuttering over my words, because I'm in here petrified of catching shrapnel because of your dumbass.
I didn't do anything fucking wrong, and I did nothing wrong. So, firstly, Scooper Luke, Manners, why were you attacking the show, claiming the capacity wasn't close to full? Now, I was just reporting information that was given to me. I said reports have emerged. I don't know. I wasn't there. And the only reason I made a point of it was, when people were saying it wasn't that full, I was disappointed. More Minifans turned up. Now people are telling me it was 95% full. So I've heard figures from 60% to 95%. Mayo, where do you think it's at?
Much closer to 95.
Great.
Yeah, I'd say 90, 95.
Fantastic. I don't know why people would think I would be shitting on the show. Like I think if you're a Minifan and you can get there, you should absolutely be there. I wasn't trying to shit on the show. That was information I was told.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who told me it was 60%, but clearly they cannot judge very well.
Was it a biased source? Was it someone do you think that was really their objective opinion, or were they saying 60% to be insultingly low about it? Like, were they busting balls, or was that an honest assessment?
No, it was a show
fan.
It was a show fan. It's not a hater. It was someone who loves the show. I said, tell me, how full is it? This was about 20 minutes in. They said, oh, it's about 60%. And I said, you sure? And they said, yeah, my row's empty. And then they showed me some photos. I don't know. I mean, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed if Minifans had tickets and didn't go. But if you're,
oh boy. We lost Menders, everybody. Well, maybe for the best.
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
I was trying to bring up this
so,
comment.
Menders, your tweet.
Said it was more like.
Let me give you my.
Said it was more like 75%. So
I would say more than 75, but again, I mean, yeah. So we'll say 75 to 90 is fair, and opinions will vary. But Menders, so I love you. Yes. But even I, so the perception last night, it's like I saw your tweets and you were piling on Cullinane about the screen. So it seemed like you were reveling in anything that didn't go perfectly at the show. And then by retweeting things like the 60%, the vibe, just glancing at your timeline, it's like, oh, Menders is kind of taking part in like shitting on it. Now, to be fair, before this show, I actually went to your Twitter account and I looked at everything you've done since the show started last night. And I think I anticipated your argument that, hey, if I was getting bad reports, I was reporting them. And I think you were getting a lot of bad reports for a certain amount of time, which made it look like you were only shitting on the show. Then you started tweeting a lot of positive stuff. One might ask if you started tweeting the positive stuff because you already could tell you were getting a lot of shit for being a hater. So then you swung it in the other direction. But that's kind of, it did feel like you were like you were enjoying getting negative reports. It seemed like you enjoyed getting those reports.
We've definitely got off topic here because we hear about the Plymouth
But this
show.
is the only topic. But it's good to talk about this first.
Okay. I was retweeting pretty much everything from the show, from the live show, good, bad, indifferent. I was retweeting all the photos. It looked like a fantastic night. I wasn't trying to shit on the show. I thought some of the negative posts were funny. Like there was one guy who was like, calling Kirk's jump the shark. And it was like, I don't know, the way he was carrying on, it was like he'd been personally insulted by the show, which I thought was funny. Like that he got so
funny, like
out.
this person's such a loser, not like they were trying to be funny.
Yeah, like that, exactly. And
retweets are retweets, fair or not, are often perceived as endorsements.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't.
So you understand where I'm saying I think I know your true intent, but I'm trying to help you see how it comes across to other people.
Yes, that's sure. That's fine. But also the screen thing was objectively funny. Like,
the screen
I got sent
on the small side.
I mean, I got sent images of that screen from a lot of different people.
Yeah.
From a lot of different people who couldn't see it in various angles of the auditorium. I did not tweet all of them out. I just thought it was funny that you needed binoculars to see the screen.
I saw the screen fine from where I was, but I did see some of those photos where it appeared some people in the house had a bad angle on it, or an impossible angle on it.
And no one can criticize me for that because Kirk was tweeting about the drinks and the screen all day.
Oh yeah, it was a weekend long pile on. It was.
So it's not like I just pulled that out of my ass.
Okay. I'm just trying to help you understand, Menners. I know you get miffed. You're going to say, I don't know why everyone thinks I hate the show.
I am miffed. And,
you shouldn't be.
Kirk told me to fuck off.
I'm sure he did.
And I'm like, well, I didn't do anything. Like I wasn't at the show. I would have been at the show in the front row cheering my ass off the whole time. Tim Richards, hello.
Hey, what's up?
He's just waking up. You can just get yourself together.
You hearing this, Tim? Are you hearing Menners' defense?
He's just waking up.
Of his Twitter behavior?
Anyway, I don't want to get into my Twitter. It's not about me. This is about reviewing the Plymouth show. I mean, I wasn't there. I would have been there if I could have. I'm sure it was an amazing show. Kirk put in 1,000% more effort than anyone else would doing a live podcast.
Yes.
So Tim, I asked Andy Mayo his initial impressions of the show. Before we get into the details, just give me your takeaways. Well,
it seems like you had some takeaways from not even fucking being within 10,000 miles of it.
I didn't have any takeaways. I'm sure it was amazing.
No, it seems like you had some takeaways. Fire away. No, I just got here. Let's rehash some of your takes.
I don't have any takes.
You had some takes.
Okay.
Tim is articulating perfectly what I failed to maybe get across.
All right. So I've heard from a number of people that it was virtually impossible to hear the audio of the videos. So I've heard claims that the show was 80% video, which I just think that cannot be right. But I've heard from people that you just could barely hear the videos, and Kirk's mic came in and out all night. I don't know. Did it?
I think that's accurate. Where I was sitting, I could hear a lot of the videos, but in each video, there were definitely portions where I was like, I could not understand what was being said. And it didn't seem like it was necessarily the audio in the video itself. It seemed like all these significant technical challenges that came up were the fault of the venue.
I don't speak twat. I'm having the hardest.
Can you hear me, Tim?
Yes, you're coming through loud and clear. Say something about Santa's Village real quick. Just anything about events.
I have the brochure right here.
Okay. I've got that. Menners, I'm not speaking the language.
I'm not saying this. This is what people told me. I'm sure the show, I would have loved the show, Tim. I saw you having a great time. I saw Mayo being pulled up in stage. I love everything about the show. I would have had a great time. I'm just reporting on what I've been told. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
The thing with rating or judging the show for me is I loved it, but because of the technical issues that I think were the venue's fault, I feel like I didn't get the show that they intended to give me and the rest of the audience. Just because simply there were parts where I was like, I know I just missed a punchline in that video because it was kind of unintelligible. So you know what I mean? I would have enjoyed that video more if I'd gotten that punchline. But so yeah, and I'm sure they must be. I'm very much looking forward to Monday's episode because I'd like to know what the responsibility was of theirs and the venue. And I'm sure, just from being there, I would assume they're furious with the venue for the technical issues and what looked like a just total lack of interest in helping to address the issues that kept occurring. So I hate to dump on like a working person.
What were some of the issues? I'm just
curious. No, it's like you said, Menders. Like Kirk would have a mic and it would start going in and out. And I thought at first Kirk was doing a bit like the Wayne's World bit at the drive-through, pretending like the mic's dropping out when it's not. But then it became apparent it wasn't a bit. Cully had backup microphones, but then they would start doing the same thing. And Cullinane was on a headset with a sound technician at the venue, and it seemed like it was a one-way street. Like you could see the sound technician, you could literally see them and see their response or what looked like a lack of response to these ongoing issues. They just kind of seemed to let them just keep happening.
Wow. Tim, did you hear everything where you were? Sorry to ask this question. I know you're going to get upset.
Yes.
Fucking dickhead Minute fans. You're also fucking sensitive. All I'm doing is trying to find the stories, trying to talk about what happened from 10,000 miles away, and you're all fucking getting your knickers in a twist because I'm bringing up facts and stuff that was said to me. Anyway,
I figured Mayo would be on the other side of this, so I thought I was going to be coming in as the Dave defender, but no. There was some parts that were hard to hear. I feel like the acoustics in like an old basketball like auditorium are kind of with like a wooden floor like that. I don't know. It's just kind of odd. It feels like the closer you were to the better seats, as far as like you were directly up front, like first couple rows, you literally had to look up like this, and like. But that at the same time is, I mean, it was an odd setup. And there were some odd audio visual issues, but I would assume that most of the audio was on the house rather than Dave. Like you could tell, like at a certain point, it's just like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do if nothing that I'm being handed works. And that can't just be Dave, obviously. So,
yeah, I think, Dave's job is to make sure there's 5 or 6 backup microphones, which there seem to be. I can't really blame Dave if he didn't factor in, what if every single one of them isn't working? And what if the venue's not going to do anything to help fix the issue? That's tough to plan for. The whole point of paying a venue is so you don't have to worry about that stuff, so that somebody's there dedicated to saving your ass when things go wrong. And I don't know. It just, from my seat, it looked like the venue wasn't coming through in that.
Okay, how far back? So we were like third row directly up front, where he's kind of like sitting there, and you could see times when the microphone would cut, and you could see like his fucking face and like the vein, and he was just like you could see like that, like when you just like slowly around something, like I'm gonna fucking lose it, like. Yep. And it was just, I kept looking at my wife and just being like, when he finally snaps on this, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
because it's going to happen.
Through. He never quite snapped, which I was actually impressed with, because
I think he smashed that one mic on the table. Like, no,
I could have pictured him like burning the place down. I would have been so frustrated. I would have just fucking gone total Hulk. I would have hulked out. Yeah, he showed restraint. Yeah. He did at times. He let his frustration be known, but there was no total meltdown. He actually handled it, I would say, well and professionally.
Honestly, I think
better than a lot of people would, because
what he should have been channeling directly at the venue. I think he was putting on Cullinane because it's funnier, and at some point it obviously became like an improvised part of the show where it's like, whatever, fuck it, this is a shit show. And then, I mean, Dave's a dipshit, but like, if you're just being given fucking stuff that doesn't work by people that's their job to give you shit that works, like professionally, that's kind of fucked up. So I mean, I think they've rolled with it. Like, obviously pretty well and shit, but just seeing his face that close up, where it was when you'd go to talk, and it's just like I can't even talk at this show that he's put so much work into. It was quite incredible. Quite,
Yeah, I mean, but I kind of feel sorry for Kirk because he put so much work into that show,
Yes.
hours and hours and hours. Like, I can imagine today he's disappointed at the venue and those things because, you know, some of the bits and the videos that would have really landed in a better venue didn't. But that doesn't mean, as you say, Tim, the show can't go well because you just roll with it, you pile on Cullinane. I mean, I saw the videos from the venue. It looked like everyone was having a great time.
Oh yeah.
It was
Yeah,
a great time, but
should we take a stroll to Positivity Corner? Do you want to do some
yeah,
do some positive stuff,
Just
Menners,
beforehand,
instead of
just
talking about what a
beforehand.
dick you are?
Let's just stay here for a little bit. I did hear that Steve Robinson was like surrounded by Minute fans at halftime and asked if he could like help save the audio of the show so people could hear. And did they have to stop the show at one point?
Well, they did an intermission which was planned.
Right.
So yeah, it's not as if they stopped it unexpectedly because of the technical issues. I didn't witness it. I have no problem believing Steve was mobbed by Minute fans. The Steve love was stronger than ever last night. Beloved,
Yeah.
Menners, beloved. And he had what is an interesting now recurring theme at KMS live shows. The heartfelt moment of the evening. Well, one of two was Steve and Kirk. And Steve got the hug this time that Justin got last time. So that was actually
tell me about this heartfelt moment. What happened?
So Kirk started. It was a few times here and there in these live shows. You get these really like tender sort of like the curtain comes down and Kirk actually like expresses a feeling. And one was with Steve, and he said to everybody like basically we wouldn't be here tonight. The show would not exist. It was me and Steve that started it. He really gave Steve a big pat on the back and then gave him a big hug.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I had a real roller coaster with Steve Robinson. We bonded for a minute, bitching about I don't know, like the Speaker of the House for the Maine Senate or something. But then he showed up to the live show wearing the exact same shirt that he had won. So he had participated in a full cornhole tournament in like 82-degree weather with like significant humidity, whereas like everyone there was either going back to shower or change to their clothing.
Yeah, like a normal person.
Steve showed up to the live show in the exact same clothes that he had worn for this whole thing, which included jeans. Like it was a wild call. So I was just like, yeah, really good conversation with Steve. Like, oh, great Stella t-shirt. Boom, boom. Fucking, he's wearing it again at this live show.
He's from Maine.
So,
he's a real Mainer.
So did he stink?
I cannot confirm or deny, but
those are hurtful rumors.
I don't
dignify them by
you
bringing them up.
It wouldn't be I mean, there's no rumor. I'm just saying that Stella shirt was the same shirt he's wearing all day playing fucking cornhole on the beach so it's pretty gnarly.
There was a photo of Ryan Whitney sitting next to Steve, and it looked like he'd like turned his head to sort of move his nose away from Steve on purpose.
There was a couple times during the show where Whitney stopped looking at his fucking phone. I will say there was a couple times during the show that Ryan Whitney stopped looking at his cell phone and actually looked at what was going on around him. It was actually really cool of him.
It was nice of him to take a break from his own Twitter feed.
I feel like there might have been some action last night that he had some interest in. It looked like very apparently.
What do you mean? Like
fucking gambling action?
Oh, gambling action, right.
He's like Montante.
Yeah, makes sense.
If you looked at him during the show, his head was in his phone, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
every single time.
I got that bit. I was just anyway. So Tim, as someone that likes a little bit of a beverage, did the venue run out of booze at any point, or were you sufficiently liquored up?
Well, sir, I myself was sober. I was the designated driver.
What?
For the evening? We headed.
Tim Ridgefields I met last year. If something happened to you,
we headed straight out of there and drove back to Maine, actually. But no.
How long is that from Plymouth?
At that time of night, it was just over 2 hours. It wasn't that
Okay.
bad. But no, the venue had sufficient booze, but they didn't have booze, and obviously there had to have been some part of like a liquor license or something that didn't come through. But as you know, as a restaurant owner,
Mm,
beer's like a 10-15% margin. You're basically buying and reselling. It's not
yep.
really like a margin. And so you make all your money at a bar or restaurant on liquor where you're making 70, 60, 80. I mean, dude, if you pour them like John Taffer, you're making 80% per drink. So it's just like fucking, that's a lot of profit and money. So obviously they couldn't get some sort of, there was something with not being able to get a liquor license and sell $15 fucking cranberry vodkas and Jack and Cokes all night, where I mean, I don't know about that part, but they had sufficient everything. There was no food option as far as even like a like popcorn or a bag of chips. But if you don't fucking, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
if you don't eat before or whatever.
Is $11 for a cause like a lot in the States? I mean, in Sydney everything's expensive, so you pay
It's a
12.
lot, but it's a lot in the way that I would expect drinks at a show to be a lot.
Yeah,
Just like if you go to a game. And I don't know, and with KMS, it's like the show's free. So oftentimes when they're like, I've bought t-shirts and stuff that I just never wear because the bar stool runs small and I'm fat. But I'll
yeah.
throw money their way just because it's like, yeah, it's free. If you told me I had to pay $200 a year for it, I would, or whatever. So same thing with the drinks last night. Like I was like, oh, 11, that's okay. That's like, yeah, they're gonna try to make their money. But I don't begrudge them that at all. I had a lot of White Claws for the first time.
What are White Claws?
It's like a hard seltzer.
Okay.
No,
Um,
I mean nine would be, as a salesman, nine would be my magic number. Just so you're automatically getting the tips to
Oh, there you go.
like
Yeah.
nine would be my number, but at the same time, I'm reliant on repeat business. So if you're just doing it once, dude, $11 isn't that bad, dude. You pay fucking $25 for a beer at fucking a stadium nowadays. It's fucking
mm.
stupid. So that was a discount blessed upon us by the Dave Cullinane, probably the greatest producer in the history of all podcasts and media. So
Did either of you hear what was behind that photo from, I think the first photo Kirk tweeted out, where there was just that pallet of like, a couple of cases of Coke and a couple of cases of water. Do we know what the story behind that was? Do we think they got a small delivery at first and then realized they didn't have enough? Did either
No,
of you two hear?
no,
that I don't know. It was incredible though.
no. I think that was just Kirk fucking with Dave. There's no way. Dave is a lot of things. He is not dumb enough to think 48 Cokes is enough for a crowd of 1,500 people. So that was obvious. There's no way that was his initial order. That was just, and that's why I give Dave a lot of credit. He takes a lot of shit, and sometimes it is a setup for a joke, I think. But a lot of people take it seriously, and he's got to swallow his pride and say, "Yep, people think I really thought 48 Cokes was enough."
Dude, Cullinane's the reverse of a swan. All right, a swan's fucking chilling, looking all smooth, piecing through the water, all chill on top, and its legs are going nuts underneath. Fucking Cullinane is literally fucking above the water, just looking insane, an absolute train wreck. But underneath the water, he's just fucking boop, boop,
Yeah.
boop.
Yep.
And I'm going to get this done. There's nothing that really hits or sticks. He's gonna do his thing, and he's really fucking good at being that type of swan. He's just a reverse swan, dude. Fucking all the shit that should be like under the water, we get to see it because it's public and above the water, and so it's put in our face, and just this fucking madness. But really, at the end of the day, below the water, dude, he's gonna do a Wilbur, and he's gonna do a second Wilbur, and he's gonna do a Portland, and he's gonna keep doing it good. And some fucking little joint, some little high school basketball fucking arena in fucking Plymouth, Massachusetts can fuck him over with shitty sound.
Yeah.
But dude, he's gonna keep going under the water, nice and slow and easy, and get it done just right. And he's doing exactly, I think, what needs to be done. So
Yeah, well said, Tim.
That was a huge undertaking to
That
organize
analogy,
the fr-
that
well,
swan
that was a
analogy.
great. I like the swan
There was a
analogy,
lot to
but
that. Yeah.
it was just like that's a big undertaking from Cullinane. Like organize the actual content on the show with Kirk. Obviously, Kirk does most of the thinking there, but still he has to be there organizing it. Then organize the drinks, organize the front of house stuff, organize everything, the ticketing. I mean, that's not easy. I mean,
It's a crazy amount that they took on. Their shows at the Wilbur and in Portland are a crazy amount to take on with everything else they have going on. And then in this case, to add all the additional responsibilities with the drinks and different services that the facility didn't provide that others do. Yeah, it would seem like a just insane amount. And they had the fucking all the extra bar stool stuff all around this time too. It was quite a lot they had leading into it.
they definitely could use live event Lisa next time just to help with the dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Is that what
So-
she does? I don't quite understand
I'm
what she does.
Pretty sure.
I
All
think
right.
if Barstool could throw them bodies, I think they could use more bodies, more grunts at their live shows.
Shane wasn't enough.
No, Shane.
No.
I mean, Shane works. Shane seems like he does a great job at the live shows. But no, with just all the logistical stuff, I think they could have probably used more people.
Benners, are you worth this asshole to fucking walk up on stage last night and fucking stand
What
there for
happened?
like literally 14 straight minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I saw your video. Tell me.
This piece of shit. Okay, so Kirk brings him up during the intermission. He said you can go get drinks or take a piss, or you can boo Andy Mayo. And so Mayo walks up and proceeds to get booed for about, I don't know, 11 or 12 seconds.
Yeah, thank you.
And then
That's
the
generous.
boos completely die, and everyone goes to go take a piss and get a drink or whatever. So Mayo, for literally, and I should have had the presence of mind to take a time lapse photo, like, and just get like so I could speed it up and have him go back and forth. But he just kind of in silence walked back and forth on the stage, like really uncomfortably.
I looked
to
at
the
their
point that
rundown, their rundown list.
It was very uncomfortable for me, and I hate his guts. So like, I can't imagine what it's like for other people that like you're just like normal. Like it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
But just a slow back and forth, and nothing. It just wasn't like it wasn't hitting. No one wanted to boo him, so he just kind of stood there.
Occasionally people would like shout something at me, like at one point someone was like told me to do 10 push-ups, so I did do push-ups. But if I tried to banter back with people, it just was
it couldn't have gone any better. Honestly, it could not have gone any better. The fact that it died on the vine,
oh my
2
God,
seconds in.
Like when they told me, they said, yeah, we want you to come out at intermission and have everyone boo you. So as I'd been envisioning it, I was like, this is going to be like at ECW back in the day when people are fucking just filling the ring with chairs. I was like, I want to get them to do that. And so to go out there in 10 seconds in, have all the energy just sucked out of the room, and suddenly it's just me fucking standing up there. It was literally the stuff of nightmares. It was.
You looked down at me, and I was just like, I hope you die.
I know.
I
wish I was
fucking great. It was fucking great.
I was eyeballing the extension cords and the rafters and thinking, like, could I loop that from here?
Oh, that's so funny. Did you get a lot of love from the Minifans, Mayo? I know your appearance was beloved, and now everyone knows you. Like when we were at the Wilbur, you were a little bit incognito, but now,
yeah,
a lot of
everybody's
selfies, a lot of people saying they want you back on the main show, kind of thing.
Surprisingly, no one said that, but no, everyone's very nice. They did do a third chair ranking with the crowd reaction. I actually liked that portion of the show a lot. They did a Minifan third chair ranking, and I was pretty roundly booed. John Peltier got the biggest pop of all the third chairs.
Well, I mean, recency
Montante's was Montante's reaction mixed?
It was a solid booing.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that. I thought Montante was like at the Portland show, he was like man of the people. I saw lots of people going up to him and like shaking his hand.
As far as pops go, there'll never be a pop you hear like a Blind Mike pop at a Kirk Manhattan live. Like when they bring out Blind Mike, it It's absolutely wild, and like the combined, like there's a bunch of combined Kirk pops that would like equal that, but like Blind Mike's is just fucking pandemonium every
Yeah.
single time,
Mike, I think the biggest pops last night were from least to greatest. I'd say were Mutt when he came out in the dance routine, and then Blind Mike, and then Kirk announcing that he signed a 3-year deal. I think those were the three things people went the most crazy for. Kirk making that announcement was an awesome moment. That was great.
I would 100% actually agree with that. I think those were exactly what I had written down. Is that when Mutt fucking bounced out on stage?
Yeah,
fucking, God damn it, that sucks.
No, Steve, I see that comment about Steve. I'm not taking anything away from Steve. He got big pops, but those other pops were bigger. He didn't quite get at that level.
Yeah.
Okay, so
do I have to be on YouTube to see what people are saying?
Actually, I'll put them up. So you said right? All right, so you said Montante was there and he didn't get a big cheer. Was Julie there, and did she get a big cheer as the third chair?
Julie was there, but when Kirk was just riffing, naming people who've been in the chair, and I don't think he named her.
Okay, interesting.
But she was in a lot of the videos.
Her videos were phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, she was Patricia.
It's one of those things where like, hey, you're not an actor. Would you like to act?
Well, tell us about some of the videos for the people that weren't there.
All right, so Menners, the show opened with Kirk's conception. So rather than the first two show openings were largely centered around death, this one was
it came out as a baby. So it came out as a baby.
So we saw first Peter and Patricia Minahan as portrayed by Justin Trudell and Julie, who works in real estate.
Yeah.
They were Kirk's parents, and basically Peter's too busy and stressed out with work to procreate, to actually do the deed. And so she calls Moss Dudley over. So that was the first big gag, was that Moss is Kirk's dad. And then it was like a series of vignettes moving through Kirk's early childhood, adolescence, teenage years, including trips to Dr. Dan, the infamous back of the Subaru, masturbation story, and Justin
two of the funniest
dad.
Yeah, sorry. Two of the funniest moments of the night were Big Cat playing Dr. Dan and slapping him like a dog with the fucking Billboard magazine. Like, that was an authentic Billboard. You could tell that was like an old Billboard magazine. He slaps the piss out of him like a dog with it. And then I think, to me, like the funniest thing of the whole night, video-wise, was when he goes, like when that train is going by at Wedgmere Station, and he like goes to like put his head towards it, and that's a real train. And then at the end, where he just like he just kind of turns and looks at it like wistfully, like I'm gonna kill myself with you one day, like as opposed to today. The little
wave he gave the train at the end was perfect.
Unbelievable, beautiful.
That was a good shot too. Like cinematically, the way that was framed with the train coming from the background to the foreground.
Very good.
Yeah. That was very cool. And Justin's line,
probably illegal. Probably very illegal. Yeah, probably very illegal.
Was Kirk a baby when Big Cat was spanking him as Dr. Dan? Was he still?
No, he was probably like, I'd say anywhere from 10 to 15 there. It wasn't quite.
Right.
He wasn't so much spanking him. He was more like pummeling and beating the shit and like torturing him. Like it wasn't. Yeah.
Big Cat's recurring threat to little kid Kirk was, "I'll kill your whole fucking family." For some reason, just the way Big Cat was saying that was very funny. Yeah, that was a top one. So that was
what did Carabas do?
For the whole intro. Carabas's was him. I taught Kirk everything he knows. That was actually very good too. So then it was Carabas in studio with Kirk, and it's things like he's showing Kirk a video of Erin Andrews. And he's like, "Now, Kirk, use a word to describe her." And Kirk's like, "Not talented." And Carabas just keeps driving at him until he finally gets him to call her, whatever he called her. Was it gutless? So that was good. Carabas was good.
He teaches. That's the other video I had written down. At one point, he's teaching Kirk how to eat ass. And
yes, and it was
you see Kirk eating Dave's ass, and it's like intentionally like horribly like edited and blurred, where like you can tell that like there's a blur over Dave's ass, but his pants are still up. But he's just like going to town, and at one point Dave looks back at the camera with like a little smile, and that was definitely another very very good part of the videos where like the audio issues didn't really have any effect on the effect of the video.
I don't think we
really
should
Yeah.
bring up the audio
good.
issues. People don't like it when you talk the truth. So let's just walk past them. Let's just pretend it went off without a hitch.
Well,
without a problem.
you have to acknowledge them.
No,
I mean,
I
they're
get
gonna
in
talk
trouble
about
for
it
acknowledging
Monday.
them. I get in trouble for acknowledging
Matters, I
them,
told you the
Matters.
the
Small
perception was
screen.
that you were reveling in a pile on.
No,
That's
no.
what it appeared to be.
Anyway,
in this case, the better the seats that you had. So if you purchased better seats, like if you were in the front row, like for example, if you were in the front row, you basically essentially would have had to look at the screen like this. And like we were like third row or something, so we're doing the same thing and shit. But like there's people in the front row that might not have been able to see the screen. And then I'm looking over at Harlan Ackerson, and like Deaver and people that like Deaver was in fucking Mississippi. He was at the first Madawaska. He's been to every show. And I'm looking over at him like to my left, like, and he's in the front row of like the first like balcony, I guess, what you would
Yeah, I
call
stared at
like
him a lot.
and he's literally behind the screen. He can't fucking see the screen. And Deaver's been at fucking everything. He's at everything. He's the ultimate like minifan. He doesn't do almost anything online. He's a wicked nice guy. And I look over at him and Harlan Ackerson, who's also like him and his wife are like just fabulous people. And it's like there's no way they're looking at it like they have to look at the screen like you're reading a golden retriever fucking Shakespeare. They're just like like it's just like I don't know. That part was tough, I guess. I mean, that's the venue, though. There were restricted views in the ticket coding, so
he did tweet out a photo, actually, Diva, from his seats. I guess in hindsight, that venue, because of the shape, you probably needed like 3 screens, like one in the middle and one off to each side.
It would be much different if it was a static, like just a completely static. So if it was like a static performance of something where you're like totally reliant on a viewpoint of like a certain thing, that would have been obviously worse. But where Kirk Minihane is the most dynamic electric performer alive today, he brings the show to you at your seat. And even if you can't hear exactly what's being said on some videos or some audio, he's going to, at some point, like, no matter where you are in a giant facility, he's going to interact either with someone next to you, near you, around you. And so that alleviates, definitely, to me, obviously, some part of the fucking whatever issue. Like I said, you're not staring at something going on stage and you can't see or hear it. He's bringing the show to you. So I mean,
yeah, but I guess if there was a lot of videos and a lot of everyone around you's laughing and you can't see them, that would be a little bit annoying.
Yeah, that too.
Tim, aren't you glad you're live at the same time as Kirk Minihane? You can go to these shows.
Yeah,
Isn't
and
that
that's how I feel.
absolutely.
I would love to be there.
Doesn't it pain you when people like Menners try to take that away from you?
I'm not trying to take it away. I would
joy
if I
is
lived in
hard to come by.
Massachusetts,
Menners.
I would be
Let
at
us
every
have it.
show. Unlike Danny and all those people that couldn't get a Believe pass, I would be there. So,
Where was Jay last night? I know you don't care, and I know you don't care. But where was Jay last night? Jay's been to every show. Every show.
I think Sneakers and Jay.
I was
pulled out
re-listening
at the
to
last
Peltz.
minute.
Well, no, Jay's been to every show. Jay was in Mississippi. Jay was in fucking Madawaska 1. Jay's been to every show. Jay wasn't there last night, I don't think. That concerns me. It should concern you. He's a good guy.
Yeah, so back on the stage.
I certainly hope he's well.
Killer Kowalski. Jay was working a double shift at DoorDash. That's where he was. Okay.
You fucking asshole.
So on the show, saw the dance move at the beginning with the kids with Mutt
Yes,
and
very
Kirk.
cool.
Well, explain what was the bit behind that. How did it go? Looked fun.
Yeah, because
Potentially the greatest. Yeah. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
No, Tim,
Someone
no.
explain it.
Like I talk enough, please.
It was just potentially the greatest. I mean, it was definitely the most choreographed, organized thing they've ever done on a stage as far as moving parts and shit. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like a fucking child dance troupe, like you know the old South Park episode, like where you got served. Like they came out, and they were like serving the entire crowd and shit, and like doing all this shit, and it was kind of awesome. But then Mutt and Kirk just kind of bounced their way out there, and the boots that fucking the boots that Kirk was wearing and the boots that Mutt was wearing.
And what was the bit behind that? What was the bit?
I have no idea. No, just
a dance. Just a dance.
The videos, the videos at the beginning moving through Kirk's childhood.
He's a dancer.
It talked about his mom insisting he go to these dance classes.
Okay.
So then when that video ended, they had this actual dance troupe come out, which was cool because the shows, the big shows like this where it's like a multimedia theatrical production. It's interesting to go to 1, 2, 3 of them now and see them how they improve and what they add each time. So when the dance troupe came out, I was kind of like, oh, of course, like this is perfect. They haven't done this before. It's very theatrical. It ties in. I thought that was a cool addition to it. And I thought Mutt was the better dancer of him and Kirk, which I hope doesn't affect their
I thought
friendship.
so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that was funny. So, okay, so you got the dancing, you got the skit about Kirk growing up. Then I saw there was quite a bit of singing and karaoke and stuff, and a few of the old favorites.
Yep. Mike had a man on the street video that was really good.
Yep. Why are you laughing, Tim?
You're such a scum. You're such a weasel. You're such a weasel.
Because I'm
the four fucking dickheads in the audience that every time there was a video or every time there was a song that would yell, "Oh, another video! Oh, we've heard this before with the song." Those are the people that are feeding you, and you know it.
I would have been cheering and singing at the Wilbur both shows.
The way you said that, you knew what you were saying. You knew what you were being fed by the people you were being fed it.
That is such.
Yep.
Okay, so tell me about the songs. Like I heard there was a few.
They were fucking glorious. They were all rippers. It was an absolute ripping rendition of every one of them. It was great. It was great.
Any memorable ones? You guys are so sensitive. I mean, the Minna fans are fucking. Is this the Minna ladies group or something? Jesus.
We're ladies, Tim.
So tell me,
we're ladies.
So okay. Growing up, then there's the sing along. What else happened? Give me some stuff. Okay, Kirk announced his 3-year extension. How good is that? I think. Were you guys surprised?
I hope it was, because honestly at the very end of it, and everyone's kind of retweeted it where like it seems like it has to be real, but like just like when we were at, I can't remember whatever show, and he's like, "It's Steve Robinson," and he's just like, "Nah, fuck." Like I think it was the Wilbur maybe, and Steve Wilbur, didn't. Yeah, Steve didn't come out. Right at the very end of that, Kirk was just like, "Nah, I'm just fucking around," like, or something to that effect. And it was just like, "Wait, did he say that?" So I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like,
I missed that.
Oh yeah, audibly, and that was one of the only things. So he said it. The place went nuts, and then he just was like, "I'm just fucking around." So I really do hope that was very, very real, because it seems to have been retweeted and celebrated. But you can
will be surprised if it's not.
You could very audibly hear that he said that.
Yeah,
so
I missed that somehow.
I think he was fucking around by saying he was fucking around. Hopefully.
Well, he said Cullinane signed a 7-year contract or something like that. Was he maybe referring to that when he said he was fucking around?
It was literally after the place was going crazy talking about the 3-year contract.
Ryan Whitney said he tweeted out that the place absolutely went nuts when he did that.
It did. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was I
Yeah.
thought that was a
Oh,
really seemed
wish
like
I was there.
a really special moment.
Um,
And someone
wish I was
yelled, "I
there.
love you, Kirk," and he said, "I love all of you." He said, "I don't say it, but I do." And then he
yeah,
kind of like pointed
precipitated
at
like
me.
a really nice moment. Yeah, he was thinking he looked at that guy and talked back to him, but he's thinking about Mayo. No, it precipitated like a really nice moment with Steve, which was, I mean, I still feel it in my plums. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
It was
it really
awkward
was
and beautiful.
touching.
You know, like when you go down like a
Yep.
really big roller coaster, just that awkward like feeling. Like I don't know what I'm feeling, but that was nice. That was nice.
Yeah, it
Poor
was.
Kirk having to hug Stinky Steve on stage.
It was this okay. So the other thing that got me when we were out at this cornhole tournament watching them play, he had that shirt on, which was like a thick cotton shirt, but then he had like a second shirt underneath, like
Ugh.
while wearing jeans and like boot type attire. And then, like I said, he just showed up wearing the exact same thing, and it's just like, God damn, son, like that's, I mean, dude, if you're following like Fish on tour or something, like I understand, but like I don't know.
Yeah, man, it's so great that Kirk signed for 3 more years. He wasn't going anywhere. He's getting more and more into Barstool, so they love him. So it's great news. May, you mentioned a Blind Mike video. Sorry, was that you that said he did a good video?
Oh, he had a
Was he
man on the
even
street
there?
video.
Was he there? Was he there?
Yes, but so another unfortunate casualty of the technical issues was at one point
Shh,
early
don't talk
on,
about them.
Kirk referenced their
Secret.
rundown sheet, and he said, okay, this is the part where we're supposed to banter for 10 or 15 minutes, but nobody on stage could hear anyone else on stage. So there was no way for them to have any real type of like interactive segments, which I think after the last show, I think some of the feedback people said like, we could use some of the some more of the KMS type banter at the live show. So I was wondering if that 10 to 15 minutes they had allotted was them responding to that and saying, yeah, let's do some more just shooting the shit stuff too at the live show. So Mike couldn't hear anything. So poor, Mike ended up pretty much being like, there were a few times he got some lines in, but so although he was there, his active role was really limited. Yeah.
Roscoe saying for the third consecutive live show, Mike was unable to participate because he couldn't hear. Sorry for putting that comment up. So
Manners, you're
what
being
else?
sensitive.
So tell me what else happened on the live show. You guys were there. So we've got the songs, we've got the bit, we've got the announcement that he's staying, we've got the heartfelt moments, the vote for the third chairs, anything else?
There was a shocking lack, from what I understand. We did not attend Friday night. It was the first time we've ever not been around for like a night before a show, which is usually when shit gets like really fucking sideways. But there was a shocking lack of debauchery, fuckery,
No sexual assault this weekend.
not that I could see, thankfully. Puking on top of urinals. There was just like an absolute like stunning level of decorum. Like it just, I don't know. It was weird. Like it seemed like there was something missing. Like there should. It just like as the second time I've attended one of these things sober, it was just like, where's the fucking, someone's got to be taken out of here on like a stretcher or something, right? Like isn't there supposed to be like cartoon fucking debauchery, and instead it was just
I
like,
get the impression not as many people went into Plymouth the night before. I think a lot seemed to drive in on Saturday, so maybe it didn't look, from the photos I saw at the No Exit 4 gig, it didn't look like there was a ton of people there.
I think the Cape is a little bit cost prohibitive
Yes.
this time of year.
Yeah, it was fucking expensive.
especially if you didn't make plans like when tickets went on sale. Um, we made plans. We just had shit come up where we couldn't do what we needed to do and get down there. But
Thanks
it
for that.
if you didn't like make a fucking like reservation when the tickets went on sale, dude, you're looking fucking crazy money or staying 35 minutes outside of town. So I think that was a little bit of an issue. But I wasn't there. But I was just bummed. I was kind of trying to get anything. Like, can someone tell me like
Well,
Peltier's like finger fucking a waitress
okay,
while like
Tim. I
like
did
just
see someone. I did see Harmon tweet out a picture of someone pissing in a mop bucket backstage at the Plymouth show.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
not that's impolite.
I think that was an acronym guy who did that. I could be wrong. So if I am, I'll retract
Manners,
that.
you
But
don't want to say that if you're
Oh.
not sure about it.
what
I could be wrong.
I don't know who that was, but I saw the picture and it seemed like he walked into there thinking that he was going to like an entrance or an exit, and that dude was in there fucking pissing in the mop bucket. Like I don't think.
Well, like Harmon just caught him doing it.
Yeah, well, I don't think Harmon
Oh,
went and
okay.
pissed in a bucket after that guy. I think you just like
No.
saw the guy and was
figured
just
it was
like,
his. I
"Holy
figured it was his
shit!"
buddy. I thought it was his
I think it
buddy,
was his
not that
buddy,
Harmon just
yeah.
stumbled across someone doing that.
No, we fucking drove with Harmon there. No,
Oh, Tim,
that,
you're Harmon. Oh, Tim wants it. Okay, Tim needs it on record that he is
wants it
Harmon's
struck
buddy,
from the-
not
I'm gonna
not the
find-
mop pisser. The mop pisser is not
no.
in
I
the
don't-
Harmon circle.
I think the mop pisser was like a random like that might be the only level of debauchery that took place where there was a mop bucket pisser potentially. Like,
And it's not
oh,
even
shit.
fun debauchery. It's just more kind of pervy and just
yeah,
unsettling. It's not like someone shitting in a urinal, which is endearing and everyone can get behind it.
that wasn't shit. That was like a steak, like a chunky steak puke, like fucking just
Oh.
like ate like a full steak. Like that was like a chunky filet mignon puke.
Oh.
You could see
Is that's what you had that night?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the photo. That's the offending
There it is.
photo.
Could be
That's
staged.
Harmon.
I don't see
So
it.
there
I don't
was
see a
some
stream.
debauchery. And so I don't know who that is. That's I don't think that's acronym guy.
I think that's Ziggy.
Could be.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
That's awesome that he just put him on blast and took a selfie with him fucking pissing in a mop. Look at that face. He's so sweet and innocent. Like
You can imagine when they go to mop, like they were mopping up the floor later on. And it stinks. Wow.
Yeah. No,
Is Steve Robinson around? Is Steve Robinson around? Oh no.
Mop
Manners, you
bucket
know who was really
pisser.
good in the videos? Oh, Manners,
Who?
the other big thing was they had like an extended Cullen episode. That was one of the videos.
God, I missed it. Yeah.
And it was and that was
lucky
the one that I think
lucky no one could hear that one.
I think that one suffered the most from not being heard because a lot of it was dialogue heavy, and that's
That
one where
one
there were
suffered
definitely
the most.
times. Well, yeah, because it was dialogue heavy.
Go on.
Whereas, for example, the Big Cat, Jersey Jerry, and Kirk as best friends living in a house together video, that video was perfect for the live show because there was barely any dialogue. It was all visual gags. You didn't necessarily have to hear it to laugh at it. Whereas Cullen is the other end of that extreme, very dialogue heavy. You have to be able to hear it. So that one, I think if they take another stab at that, I bet they would do it separate where it's not in that because the live show environment's kind of chaotic. So I think the shorter videos that are really visual and gaggy and just punch straight ahead, those are good.
The nuance of the language of Cullen, or like the little inside jokes of everything that comes with Cullen, and just the accent and everything that did get lost a little bit in translation. That and with the production value of that, where they went to Madawaska and they did all that, that suffered the most of anything of the night, I think.
This will be
as far
edited
as-
out, so don't worry. This will be struck from the record.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No,
If
no
you asked me
dissenting
to
voice.
judge
No,
it,
no, no. You
I
all
can't
made it
even
very
quite
clear.
judge it because I missed so much of the audio that I couldn't even quite
Yeah.
follow the narrative thread
Ouch.
of whatever story they were trying to tell.
Or
Like
just
Blind Mike was in it at one point, and I was like, I'm not quite sure how they tied Mike into it, So that's what I mean. Where I feel bad for them that they put so much work into it, and then there's parts that they just we literally couldn't even experience what they wanted us to because of the.
I can't wait till we get into the story from Cullinane about how the screen happened, because clearly when you order something like this, you are given measurements. It's a 100-centimeter screen or a 42-inch. So normally you sort of think about the size and then go, "Would this be big enough?"
Does anyone have any information on that? Does anyone have is there anything out there as far as how did that debacle take place? How was it allowed to take place? And how did it play out?
Yeah,
that when
I really
we walked
hope they
in
get
there,
into it.
there was a fucking TV that I mean,
I can imagine.
Dude, I've been in casinos and like sports books that have much larger units on the wall, and it's just like, how did that happen? Where I'm walking in with like a fucking 120-inch flat screen that's like tied up by ropes, like hanging. Like what? How did that come to pass? Is what I'm.
I assume it's something like what happened with the 29K catering disaster. Someone sent Cullinane a message from this company and they said, "Will 42 inches be big enough?" And he went, "Yep, all set." Didn't really look at how big 42 inches was. And then when he got there, he was like, "Oh no, this is not big enough."
Could
That's
be.
what I think happened.
Stands to reason.
There were some shots
of
the screen, like perspective wise, from some people's seats that were objectively hilarious. As a Dave Cullinane supporter, ally, there were some pictures that were taken by some people that were, like I said, you can't deny, unbelievable. Just the perspective, it's like if you had like the world's largest testicles, like really, 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 like just like really big testicles, and then just like this itty bitty like acorn like poking out like on top of them. It just didn't look right against the backdrop of like a stage with like a band set up. It was just like this little baby micro peen just kind of sitting there. I don't know how it happened though.
Yeah, I hope they do a good. I want the post-mortem. I know we'll get it Monday, but I want just like their debrief about the show and how those things happened, and not to like pile on for any, or I'll enjoy hearing them pile on, but I'm just insanely interested about all the behind the scenes stuff that goes into planning this. And this one has the added element of who was responsible for what in terms of them versus the venue. I'm really curious about all that.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it as well. So anything else from the show you guys want to bring up? Obviously, we've gone through the videos, the karaoke, the baby stuff, the announcement, the voting on the third chair. Anything else I missed before we get onto a couple more comments and then listening comments?
Probably the most important thing, Chi Boy, who is freshly married and has a child, blessed be the Chi. Chi Boy has relocated back to Massachusetts and attended his first live show. So
nice.
The fortunate few were able to meet Chi Boy in real life for the first time.
Tell me about some more Minifans. What was the goss? How drunk was Montante? How hot?
There was nothing. That was the thing. I was really fishing for information like from the night before, and it's just like, it was like 35 people, and it was, Peltier talking about getting load swallowed or whatever. Other than that, like
I saw someone ordered some food for him in the middle of the night and got it delivered to Pelt's place. Did you see that?
Are you serious? Just fucking I need 75 packets of mayonnaise and fucking no napkins right now.
And then he said it was like he
I spent a
tweeted
lot
out
of
it
time with
wasn't
Peltier and Ziggy.
okay.
I
Unfortunately,
saw Ziggy at the perfect time, just as we were walking out. I was above him, and he was like walking out the bottom, and I just looked at him, just looked up at me. It was the perfect amount of time to see Ziggy Robinson in the flesh.
so I'm gathering the day when everyone went to Bio Dudes, and then people just went to the show, and then afterwards, did people go out afterwards? From what you know, or did everyone just sort of
I don't
hang out the
know.
front and do a bit of chatting, and then go their separate ways? It
Bio
seemed like
Dude, Bio Dude's an
Tim's right.
absolute,
Everyone was well behaved. It
and
did
I
seem like
expected
there was just less of a wild vibe in the air. Like everybody, and it's like I was thinking in March, the last show, everyone's kind of maybe itching to go fucking insane because we're just getting out of winter. Whereas now, I felt like everyone I talked to was like I did. I had a wedding and I'm going on a family vacation tomorrow. Like I snuck away from family shit to get to the show. And I heard quite a few other people were under similar circumstances. So yeah, I was curious about that, just the time of year and what effect that has on how crazy the crowd's gonna go.
Bio Dudes was like a fucking Christian family barbecue. It was one of those things where you expect someone at an event like that, for example, to get so fucked up during the day that they're like staggering out of there, and it's like, oh god, I can't wait to see that guy later. You know what I'm saying? Like at the first Madawaska, Kevin from Bristol's drummer buddy got so fucking hammered at the goddamn like ice fishing event. It was just like, dude, I can't wait to see this guy like 10 hours later. But there was nothing like that. Everyone was well behaved. People were helping Bio Dude like clean up his fucking porch and house.
How was his grill?
You know what? His boy Big Jim, like who ran the grill, this dude just showed up and he's just like this fucking like Hulk dude from like they go to the gym together or whatever. But this guy just showed up and just started cooking, and that dude is the man. Like he just likes to cook, and he's a friendly feller. So it was very nice. You know, it was literally a fucking
very
25,
civilized.
30 person group of people that was just completely nice. Very nice people.
Oh, great. Minifans are great. A wonderful group of people.
Is the fan community maturing at a rapid rate? Like have the Minifans collectively entered middle age where now they're all like me?
Mayo, I'm not going to let you destroy
it's getting to be 11 o'clock.
Let's
get home.
I think we've lost our edge.
You think I destroyed the review?
Just to talk about, we're getting old. No, I mean, okay. I want to know where you rank.
I blame the host. You didn't get the best out of us, Manners.
No, this has been a great review. I want to go through the comments, but before we do that, to wrap it up, Tim, where do you place the Plymouth live show in your rankings? I know after Portland, we went through this, and you still have Madagascar one, I think, very high. But where do you think Portland? Where does Plymouth come in? Does it even make the top 5, or is it?
Yeah, how to compare to Madagascar?
I wasn't compared to Madagascar.
Yeah, where does it rank? Obviously, you got the Wilbur, Portland.
Of the two, what I would call like big theater shows, like the 2 Wilbur shows, and then Portland. So 3 big theater shows in this. Due to technical issues, which I would 100% assign to other people. I think of the 3, this was my least favorite, I guess, or I don't know.
Network's gonna get shut down now.
There was times it was tough to hear, man. It was tough to hear and it's tough to see, but it was still.
Sorry, I asked.
But that's like saying, what's the best Lord of the Rings, man? All of them are great.
That's not a good analogy.
No. Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King. You know, Fellowship's the best. Obviously, everyone knows Fellowship is the best. But Return of the King got all the glory. It got all the awards. So, like, no. That's asking what the best Lord of the Rings is. Like,
yeah, I get it. It was a fantastic show. You don't have to backpedal. We get it.
Absolutely fantastic.
Andy, where would
similar
you rank
similar answer?
Plymouth?
Like it almost feels like it's like I feel like I can't rank it against the other ones because it had the technical issues that the other ones didn't have. Like I said, again, I feel like they you know, they weren't given the chance to put forward the show the way they intended because of stuff out of their control. So that affects it. I think had I been able to hear everything, and if the technical issues hadn't occurred, then it probably could have been up in the running, maybe over Portland if they'd been able to do it exactly how they wanted. Because there was a lot of it that was really fun. I mean, I still laughed my ass off the whole time. But I think there's just a certain flow that Kirk was able to really get into. And there were times you were just watching him try to get into that flow, and then the fucking mic would go out. And it was just like, God damn it, somebody fucking fix it. So yeah, I feel like I would put an asterisk next to it and not even maybe rank it with the other ones. Okay. But as always, it made me really look forward to the next show. Because again, I like seeing them get better. I like seeing what they do differently each time.
It will be interesting to hear the actual breakdown of, like, I don't know how things like that work. So.
I think Kirk's upset about the technical difficulties. That's my my opinion. That he's very upset about them.
Yes.
As I said, he wasn't happy with me. Which ironic because he was dressed as a baby yesterday and he's acting like one because I haven't done anything.
But do you understand, Matters? It feels like you're
I don't
participating in the pylon.
I don't want to get into that because
why don't you want to be introspective?
Because people are
what
so.
What role did you play in this?
I didn't do any role. That's the thing. I retweeted every good and bad thing from last night. I don't want to, but I'm just saying, Kirk, I think will be upset about it because he put so much work into it, and then he couldn't deliver on those bits. We heard him talking about it. He would have spent hours and days recording those videos, and then you get there and they don't work. But I'm sure
if you take that show last night and you take it and you move it from that shithole with those assholes who don't know how to fucking produce a production and help a genius be a genius, and you take that and you move it to fucking Portland to the State Theater, or you move it to fucking the Wilbur, or you move it to anywhere that's not a fucking barn with a bunch of amateurs, you have a fucking another masterpiece. You just have another masterpiece.
Exactly.
You have another masterpiece.
Good job. Thank you, Tim. Yeah.
But those like you get this fancy place in this fancy town and shit, and it's like you got fucking microphones that like you're using at a fucking wedding for karaoke. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like, be better for someone that's that awesome. I don't know. Fuck it.
I wonder if there'll be any type of like legal wrangling over all of it, because I don't know, if I was them, I would feel like I didn't get what I paid for. But again, we don't really know the breakdown.
Yeah, because it seemed like it was one of those places where it's just like you hire the place and you sort everything out inside, the AV, all that stuff.
But they did have, like, I know at one point when they were telling me how to get to the stage, there was a guy from the venue that Dave turned to and said, "Hey, we need to get him there. Where do we send him? How do we do that?" So there was that person. And then there was a staff member who was the audio person, the sound guy. So yeah, it didn't seem like it was 100%. Hey, we just turn the key, you come in and run everything. They had people there that were designated to do certain things.
Yeah, right. I know here when you do live shows, the venue always supplies someone, but a lot of the time you take your own person because you have zero faith in the person there. Like they're just they don't care. Like it's like Kirk's going to leave. They're never going to see him again. So that guy doing the sound that night, he doesn't give a shit.
Speaking of having faith in people that do good work for you, I think something that's gotten lost in the wash with all the fuckery and the technical issues, Shane is leaving the show.
Good point.
Shane,
I always forget so much the next day.
Shane is moving on from the show.
Who's Shane?
Oh God, this sounds so fucking bad.
Shane, do you even listen to the show, man?
This is gonna fucking play into Mentor's thing. I couldn't hear exactly what Kirk was saying as to the reasoning behind his leaving, but he said something about meat cutting. So I don't know what the situation is, but it looks like Shane is leaving the show. Like
Well, that's
like
no great loss.
pretty much imminently as of like last night. So
Oh, I don't, Manners. Why
would
are
you say
dumping on
that?
Shane? Yeah,
What's wrong with him?
What's that
I
based on?
mean, no, like he's a good guy and everything, but I mean, there's no great loss, I think, to the show or the network or anything. I mean, he's not doing a lot generally. I mean, he's
Dude,
you know, he's
that
not a
dude
content.
ran like fucking 2.5 miles last night, following Kirk around that place.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
well, I
does. He
wasn't
does seem
there.
like he's good to have at the live shows.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Just I just think he's a little bit limited for the show needs some better interns. And some of the things I'm going to be doing now that Plymouth is over is sort of trying to work with Dave Cullinane more to start to promote the network a bit more and get a bit more hype going on and a bit more content. All right, let's go through these comments. Killer Kowalski, I prefer Mayo in his car. Dan Hamer, Manners, can you just say Joe Sanders is your source? So Dan,
Yeah, let's get into that source. Are they on Twitter?
So
are they on Twitter?
It would surprise you to know Mayo, but I don't have just one source. Like, because I host Minifandom, I get a lot of messages from a lot of different people all the time about the show. So Joe was not my only source from the main show, and she loved it. She loved the show. She's a huge Minifan. She's so nice.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I feel bad like talking about the technical issues because I don't want to take away from their accomplishment, or I don't want to give the impression that I didn't enjoy it, that I would like I said, I can't wait for the next one. Like the I don't go to concerts, I don't do a lot of stuff. Like the live shows have become like a special thing in my life. It's nice to get like away from the family and go see these other people, and it's just a really special experience. And Kirk just fucking like can take a building full of 1,500 people and just shake it around based on just his charisma and talent. Like, so,
Anyway, so Dan, I got 50 DMs, so Joe's not my only source.
Why are you protecting the source, though? Oh, he did name Julie?
It's the journalism, dickhead.
I got 50 DMs.
Rico Petroselli. He named Julie. She got a loud cheer.
Oh, okay. I'm just an idiot.
You guys probably didn't hear that.
My brain is just completely fried, so.
Harmon, it was a great floor show.
What does that mean? Is that a like strip club reference?
Maybe you just had fun on the floor.
Like, honestly, like while you're there and you're watching the show, I mean, you don't. It feels bad to say, but I don't really give a shit. Like, if other people aren't seeing it right, like if I'm having a good time and I can see it and hear it, I'm cool.
Yeah,
like, I don't care.
That honestly didn't really cross my mind.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking of other people's experience because we were in a good spot, and it was just like, wow, this kind of rules. Like, and so I heard people's objections after, and the screen was hilariously small, but I was just kind of like, yeah, seeing people's tweets where their perspective and like seeing their view of shit was kind of funny. But like, I mean, at the time, like,
you've changed your tune. You've changed. A little while ago, you were saying how sad you were for Diva that he couldn't see, and now you're like, fuck him.
No, people I care about. Like, dude, like if you're out on the Serengeti and you're just like out with other lions, and it's like, yeah, I know those lions, they're cool. Like, I worry about them, but like, dude, a couple fucking zebras over there, hyenas, like, I don't even know. Like, fuck them. Like, if they can't fucking.
Anyway, Halliday's Egg, tell us about some of the videos for the people who couldn't hear anything. We've done that. Rico Petroselli, 90% of people left before the encore of Ain't Talking About Love.
That was a little, that was kind of a weird moment. Like, I don't quite know what happened, but it seemed like a good number of people took it that that it was at the end. And like, I wasn't even quite sure. So yeah, that was, I don't know if that was an encore of
It was, I don't know if it was planned or not. I feel like it was planned, but like people en masse just got up and left. And then a bunch of people kind of funneled to the middle, and Kirk just fucking blasted out Ain't Talking About Love. Like, it just right in the middle of everyone. It might have been the best song of the night. Like, it might have been the best song of the night. And a lot of people have left. I don't know. That was an odd choice for those who did not wish to partake.
Killer Kowalski, I heard Mayo kissed Steve's ring. So, Mayo, actually, this is a good point. Now, we heard your groveling phone call. We've heard you completely cave. Did you actually go up to Steve at Plymouth and kiss his ring?
No, but had he presented it, I would have. No, Steve gave me the finger when he walked by while I was on stage.
Okay, good.
And then after that, I went backstage and watched them play the Last Dance with Mary Jane from backstage. And Steve came up at one point, and I think he gave me like a respectful head nod. So we had a moment.
Okay, terrible story. Roscoe, this was a very, very quiet weekend compared to Portland.
Yes.
Sounds like it. Harmon, okay. He says they actually pissed on each other.
Oh,
after
piss
this
bros.
photo.
Piss pals.
So it sounds like they got wild, that's for sure. Roscoe, the visual gags all hit.
Yeah.
Dude,
I think that's a takeaway. Like the visual gag, it's meant for visual gags because even at the Wilbur in Portland, sometimes they had lines that you missed because the audience was laughing. So even then, even when the audio is perfect, just because of the audience reaction, you might still miss stuff. So yeah, the more they can rely on visual gags.
You're talking to like a special person right here. So say there's 1,200 people there, or say there's 1,000 people there, and at that point, even 75% of them are gone to go to like an intermission of some sort. That leaves 250 people staring with their eyeballs. So like 500 eyeballs on this clown shoe, just pacing back and forth in silence. I can't understate how fucking awesome that was for me personally. Like it was phenomenal. It was so awkward, and the fact that he's here and he's not like sitting somewhere just like thinking about that still. Like I don't know how I go on with my life. He's just special. That's special. That could break like normal people. Like just being put on it. Like public speaking is a bigger fear for most people than like snakes and death and shit. And this numbnuts, he isn't even speaking. He's just standing there. He can't even like talk. It was that dude. That to me was like low key for the fans.
Thanks, Tim.
Phenomenal.
Life's a learning experience, and I've never had the opportunity to be booed by hundreds or maybe 1,500 people. So I said
for
sure.
10 seconds, but then walk around a stage in silence for like 14 straight minutes in an auditorium. That is the part that is fucking amazing.
Yeah, he was.
You just couldn't hear the boos when you were on the main show. All right, next one. Halliday said, you think you'd thoroughly vet the venue in advance?
Yeah.
Roscoe. Cullinane says, not a bad seat in the house. The only thing I would suggest to them is they should actually find a couple of venues that really work for the type of show they want to do and just maybe go back a couple of times a year. It seemed like everyone had a great time in Portland. I think the venue was fine there.
Portland.
The Wilbur was good, but maybe, having those controllables. I don't want to go into it.
You're right. I think for these shows, the big productions, if the one, and then for the ones where it's going to be more, hey, we're going to do a 2-hour, KMS as KMS is every day. Then you can take risks with those and do them on the road and just control everything yourself. But yeah, that's not a bad thought. And as for the guy who said you'd think they'd vet the venue, like they're doing this on top of everything else they do. I don't think this would ever happen again. Like, yes, maybe you can't expect them to anticipate that level of incompetence necessarily, but they won't allow themselves to be in that position again. I would guarantee that they'll learn from that.
That question's like insinuating that like Kirk Minihane, who is like one of the most prepared people I assume could be around, didn't do a complete fucking run through, a complete rehearsal earlier in the day and have everything checked and at least working. So like there's footage or there's pictures on Twitter of them doing the rehearsal.
But it's kind of too late then. Like if you do the rehearsal and it's shit, you can't just call the show off once you've sold all those tickets. Anyway, Roscoe, everyone.
So you think there might have been issues during the rehearsal, and they still just like push forward with it?
No, I'm just saying, like he's saying thoroughly vet the venue, and I'm saying doing a rehearsal on the day doesn't really solve that problem because it's too late then. That's all I'm saying. Okay, Roscoe. Everyone went back to cabbies, and Kirk, Dave, and Steve went there. So
Well, Roscoe, nobody told me to do that. Thanks a lot.
Rico Petroselli. Clemmer got the loudest boo
Yes.
and broke a record. And what, he did a video as well with Kirk. What was that about?
See, and again, this is what I mean, where I'm like, I couldn't quite follow the narrative thread completely, but basically in the Cullen episode, Clemmer is revealed as the murderer, and he murders Justin Trudell, and it had something to do with seeing Justin as competition if he went to Barstool. So Clemmer was revealed as the murderer, and Kirk actually like paused the video and really amped the crowd up in anticipation of Clemmer's appearance. And yeah, that's a good point. That in terms of pops, that was the anti-pop. That was the biggest chorus of boos all night.
Yeah. All right. Tom Shattuck. Tim just got Cullinane fired. That was probably when you were, I don't know what you said. All right. Sully Sullivan. Manners wanted it to be a bad show for his own content. That's not true. I do not care. I just
again, Manners though that
I just report the truth. It just comes to what maybe it comes across that way because I'm so far away. But if I was there dancing and groveling at Kirk's feet, I'd still be retweeting the negative comments. Like,
I know, Manners. I know you. I know what's in your heart, my little friend.
Thank you.
I'm trying to tell you, even as someone who knows you and really like gives you the benefit of the doubt, because I think I know where you're coming from.
This is the cultish behavior where it's group think. Everyone has to think the same. That's okay. Roscoe, Plymouth completely sucked as a location.
Dude, Portland, Maine is a like clusterfuck of. It's just like a peninsula. It's tight. Everything's like expensive and tight, and it's a pain in the ass. Plymouth seems like literally like was just like, here, hold my beer, check this out. Like fucking
spend more money. There's less hotels. There's less parking.
So it created like a barrier to entry for I think some people, where it's just like, dude, I don't want to go drop fucking $900 on hotel rooms for 2 nights.
That's probably why the venue was only 75% full, because people ended up bailing at the last minute. Like I'm sure they sold most of the tickets, but there were some people who probably couldn't make it.
Well, yeah, it did seem like in the weeks leading up, I saw a lot more on Twitter of like, hey, I can't go. Anybody want these tickets? So it felt like there was more of that leading into this show.
DW, it was one of his worst shows, to be honest. Still a good time. Well, DW,
but again, it's calling it one of his worst shows doesn't necessarily mean that's not a reflection on the performance. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
It's not like they went up there and shit the bed and screwed the pooch in front of everybody. That it was the technical shit, which is just a shame.
I mean,
I'm glad we're talking about this and not sexual assault.
What is it? Orson Welles, the Fabulous Ambersons, like, I mean, the studio just fucked it into oblivion. Like, like a masterpiece was never really seen by the public, and it just got lost in time. It may have been even better than Citizen Kane, people say, but the studios just fucked it and fucked it. So, how will we know what Plymouth could have been if we never know what Plymouth could have been because of like some technical fuckery? It's just it's so hard to say what could have been.
Are you saying they need to go back, conquer?
No, I say never go back to the Cape again, please. That was.
I think they need to release the videos.
That was weird. They kept the lights up for a lot of it.
Okay, shut up. I think they need to release the videos on their YouTube page at some point, because they clearly went to a ton of effort to make them. People who were there didn't hear them.
Yeah,
so
especially
just release them on YouTube, so everybody can watch them. I know if you bought a ticket, it's a bit annoying, but in the end, it just happened. But it sounds like so much effort went into those videos, and they're pretty funny. at least you could get some thousands of views on YouTube out of them.
There's a part of me, like, as far as just old school, like there used to be DVD box sets. I don't know if the kids now
Mm,
know about those, but there was like DVD and like Blu-ray box sets.
certainly more
So
chance they know about that than your Orson Welles reference. That's all I'm saying.
I thought that was kind of funny. To put all of these shows together with the live footage that they have, like rather than fan footage, to actually see if the show had full shows of these shows, people would pay so much money to have access to that at the end of this, just to not have to take it from memory or take it from your phone. To just, and I know it's supposed to be like a unique experience to those that are there and whatever exclusivity, but at the end of this, if you were to release that in a digital format, dude, that would fucking sell so big. That would sell so
Absolutely.
fucking big. Just like a one-time takeaway for all the fans, just like you can have this and like you can just remember it in case maybe you blacked out at a couple of them or whatever.
Yeah,
They should definitely do pay-per-view as well. They
yeah.
like I know they're worried that if they do pay-per-view, then a lot of people won't show up. But I don't know. I think they could sell thousands on pay-per-view. Like so many people would watch it live if you could stream it at the
Yeah,
time.
I think you'd be pulling almost exclusively from the people who simply cannot go to the live show. I
Yeah.
think you're right. You would get, but I think over the next, I mean, honest, if he really did sign the 3-year deal, I would think inevitably they are on that course to where there will be one of these live shows that's produced with the intent of it being either broadcast live or captured for post-production and put out afterwards. Yeah, you said Madagascar earlier, Menners, but and that's where I actually think, I know they're resistant to
No, is
live
Madagascar Ron
live
know
events, Lisa.
somebody? Is Madagascar Ron somebody? Because Killer Kowalski's been putting that in the chat for the last hour.
It's
So that's
because
why I said Madagascar, because I keep reading it because of that fucking dopey Canadian prick.
Oh, I thought, okay, I don't know. It's a chicken or the egg. Did you say Madagascar because he's writing it, or is he writing it because you said it? We'll never know.
Tim, you've got a good memory. Madagascar Ron, is that a reference?
Maybe something Madawaska Rob, but you said Madagascar when you were saying Madawaska.
Okay, I think that was
earlier.
because anyway,
It's Madawaska.
I know what it is.
Not Madagascar, the delightful.
Can you believe
film.
Killer Kowalski literally put in 50 comments for me to put up Madagascar on?
Yes,
and no one even gets it.
I mean, no problem believing
he really
that at
is
all.
a zero. He's a zero.
But anyway, Menners, do you think now that we know kind of roughly, like Kirk wants to put on big shows, they keep getting bigger. There's more multimedia. There's just more and more. It's a production.
Yeah.
Is that somewhere where they actually could tap into the resources of Barstool from a technical perspective? Because like I know they don't need live events, Lisa doing whatever she does on the administrative side, but in terms of like if they wanted to have a show at the Wilbur, broadcast live or whatever it's going to be, I think they would need to really utilize Barstool talent to do that. And I think that's
the one
behind
lesson.
the scenes people.
Okay, Mayo, just fucking shut up. You take you so long to spin anything out. I would say that if we've learned anything, the royal we, if we've learned anything from Plymouth, is that it wouldn't be a bad thing to use some of the admin help in organizing these live shows and let Dave focus on what he's good at, content. And as Tim went on that swan analogy, his like legs are going and flapping around, whatever.
But they don't need that. They did fine at the Wilbur in Portland. It was just they just need a venue that does more stuff for him.
Yeah, but I think
they don't need her.
I think they can use Barstool a little bit more to take some of the stress away from Kirk and Dave, because Andy, you pointed out quite rightly that it seemed to get quite stressful for Kirk in the lead up to the show, and there's no reason our great leader and there's no reason such a talented person needs to take on so much of the just the boring stuff. Like, get fucking Lisa to tick a few boxes for him. You know, get some of those idiots at Barstool to run around organizing a stream and drinks, and let Kirk be Kirk.
No,
Yeah,
no, like no, don't, dude.
If you said
that
send him 5
lady,
cameramen and a sound guy for the video production, I'd say yes.
I don't know that lady at all in the world. She might be a sweetheart as far as it goes, but if she's an asshole to Dave and she's an asshole to Kirk, why the fuck would you fucking ask her for, like, dude? If you're a fucking asshole and you have the best motherfucking baby back ribs in town, and you fucking hate my guts and talk shit to me and treat me like shit, I'm not gonna come buy your fucking ribs. I don't need your fucking ribs. I'll just get ribs somewhere else. Why the fuck would they deal with her if they don't need to? Fuck that. Fuck that,
well,
dude.
They do work at the same company. They do.
But she's an asshole to them.
She offers, man. I don't think they need that type of
friends
help
with
from
people
Barstool.
you don't, but Mayo knows this. You don't have to be friends with everyone you work with. You can have a professional relationship where you just send emails to each other. And
dude,
yeah,
we're here talking about a show with the ultimate person where I don't. If you're gonna be a fucking dickweed, I don't want your fucking help. I don't want your input. I don't want your fucking help. I don't need your help. I don't need your input. Like, we're talking about we're talking about a Kirk Minahan show. He's like the ultimate person for that. Like, why the fuck would they want her help?
I just care about him. That's all. And you know,
they need to land. Yeah.
I want Kirk to get an army of mindless but technically skilled grunts from Barstool and see what he can do. Exactly. That's what I want. That's not what you just said. You just said get Live Events Lisa to check boxes for him.
Exactly. Like, she's the one who would send the live event people and say, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. She wouldn't have to be there. Anyway, I don't want to go around in circles. I don't want to go around in circles. This is boring.
When Fasoli was at the Wilbur, obviously that's like one of those things, like, as weird as his smile is, like, it's comforting. It's like, oh, Fasoli's here. Like, you know, he's going to be doing his thing. Like, that might be cool to have someone like that, you know, can like run a camera, pull focus.
You would hear that footage. You would hear that footage.
That's what I'm saying. There's value added in the multimedia stuff for them. That's where, if they're going to get help from Barstool,
that's all I mean. That's all I mean.
Get some help that Kirk can fucking use.
Because like there's actually, like, organizing an event is a job, like, you know, booking drinks and, you know, organizing all that shit. So
it's an incredible undertaking.
Anyway, look, great. Thank you two for joining me for this review of
We're not done,
show.
Manners.
Well, okay. Anything else you want to bring up before we wrap it up?
Yes. Steve was very funny in all the videos.
Okay. Do you want to give a letter grade to the show? Give a letter grade to the show. Give a letter grade to the show to finish.
A+.
A+. Okay, good.
Yeah, another A. Like, I had a fantastic experience. I was fortunate to see and hear.
Great. So. Fantastic. All right, we're going to wrap it up. A+.
What would you give it?
A +++. I would love to.
Is that what your sources are telling you?
I would love to have been there. It sounds fantastic.
I know you would have.
So, you know, people are very sensitive.
So put it this way, Manners. If you'd been there, would you have been retweeting people that were shitting on it live?
Yes.
You would have been doing that?
Probably. Well, maybe not when I'm watching the show.
I think you would have been more swept up in it, and you would have felt like we did, which is like, why revel in that negativity? Why be retweeting all that? That's why it comes across as like shitting on something that people are enjoying.
It's that sort of cultish behavior where you can't hear the dissenting voices. You don't want to hear them. You need to shut them out. That's okay. That's fine. If you want to be like that, that's cool.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. It is. It's like nobody wants to hear it. That's exactly what it is. Nobody wants to hear it.
I just wanted to hear everything because I wasn't there. And the screen was genuinely funny. Like, if you can't laugh at the size of that screen, then you're listening to the wrong show. Like, you know, I'm not saying Cullinane should be fired because he got a small screen. It's just funny.
You would be pleased. Steve Robinson did win for finishing second place in the cornhole tournament. A box of expired COVID tests and a debit gift card with like $1.78 left on it. So there should be for anyone that was there a nice shout out for Bio Dude for hosting. Joe and her lovely husband for like taking care of part of that. Tim from Canton for organizing that. That was a lovely pre-event. It was kind of Sacco-ish, where it's just a bunch of people on a lawn, just kind of having a barbecue. So that was a good scene.
Excellent.
And it went well.
Great.
So yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for joining me for the wrap. It was great to hear about the show. Sounds like a fantastic time. Sounds like we'll get a lot of great reaction this week from it. I think the main show is just doing one show this week, and then I think they could be off for almost 2 weeks. So,
which people booed. Kirk was like, "Fuck you."
There's going to be a content void. So good news, Mena's Live returns this Friday night, 9 p.m., the first Mena's Live of the new network. So we'll be live taking calls. And look, if you were at the Plymouth show, I'd love to hear from you. I won't be hanging up on the negative calls like I'm sure Kirk wants me to, but I'll let every call through. So call in on Friday night from 9 p.m. on the KMN channel. And Tim, great to see you. Take care. Mayo, boo, boo,
fuck you,
boo.